The Glory Hunter is now going to take a turn. To this point in the save, we have managed big clubs only. We started at Juventus. We won the Serie A, but not the Coppa Italia. We moved to Dortmund 2 years later and won the Bundesliga and the Pokal. That's Germany done. We then moved to England for Season 5, and in our first year at City have won the Premier League and the FA Cup, meaning that is done. We've also won the Europa League and the Champions League thus far. They're done too. And the World Cup. We've won 8 trophies. We've just 6 to go, but 9 seasons to win them in. Because, what? Rephrase. 10 seasons to win them in. However, one of those seasons is going to have to be spent in Italy to try and win the Coppa Italia. At least one of those seasons is going to have to be spent in Italy. Meaning we have, at most, 9 seasons to do just 2 nations. Meaning we can absolutely afford a 3, a 4, even perhaps a 5-year spell at a club in a Road to Glory style Glory Hunter save to win the trophies in France or the trophies in Spain. As such, for the first time in this Glory Hunter save, we will be moving to a much smaller club and having a Road to Glory project for our next team in Spain or France, depending on where you vote. Now, don't vote yet, because we're going to go through and I'm going to show you each of the scenarios at the 8 clubs that are on that vote. And depending on what is the situation with the squad and the finances at that club, any given club may determine which way you vote. When you do vote, feel free to click and tick as many sides as you see on that vote that you would like me potentially to join. This will be the make or break point of this save, effectively. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy a Road to Glory aspect of a project in this Glory Hunter save, and it'll add something extra to it that initially we weren't planning on doing. So, let's start in France. I've 4 options there and 4 options in Spain. Your 4 options en français are as follows. Your first option is Montpellier in France. They, in real life, sit 15th and have been bottom half over the past couple of seasons. Prior to that, though, they did have a spell of finishing 6th and 8th. So, not bad. They did last win Liga 11 years ago in 2011-12. In that season, they won Liga. They are arguably the most recent, most successful side we have on the list. Now, a lot of the teams we're looking at in this vote do not have big squads. Montpellier's is the biggest squad we have of any of the teams that we're going to look at today. Their starting lineup is actually not that bad. Etienne Green in goal at 81. They've also got Kotze there at 81. Kraus at 80. Diaz at 83. And Ili, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, on the left-hand side at 82. There is also an aging Adnan Januzaj, who's 32 now in this save. A couple of regens as well. Briand here, and you will have noticed that Schmidt is also a regen there at centre-back. But there's obviously weaknesses in this side. Right back, 72 rated. Chateau is the only right back they have. I don't believe they have any more centre-backs other than the 70 rated Sanchez. At cam, they don't actually have any cams. It's just Kamara there as a centre mid. And then up top, it's Salcedo or that young Briand. Salcedo should still be quite young, 25, and Briand is 22, but he's also 5'5", so he's probably not going to be that usable in a striking position. Montpellier in an indifferent position in the save. They finished last season 16th in this save, so I mentioned they're 15th in real life. They finished Liga in 16th and narrowly avoided relegation down to the league below. So they are certainly a project. All of the sides that we will be potentially managing, will be a project. Toulouse yet to play Paris Saint-Germain actually in the final of the Coupe de France. Now that's a fixture we've seen before. Actually, it's not a fixture we've seen before. We've seen Toulouse in the Coupe de France final in the Football Manager save. It was actually Nice we had in the final, not Paris Saint-Germain. Regardless, right, their objectives, objectives aren't really that important. Financially, there is a decent budget here, £26 million at present, and obviously you imagine that will be carried over into the next season. So there is certainly some financial clout of sorts at Montpellier that could be utilised to try and get the club further up the table sooner rather than later. That's option 1 for France. Work through France, then Spain. So 4 French options. Your first one is Montpellier. Option 2 is Nantes, playing in the green and yellow. They in real life are sat 13th at the minute IRL, and in this save, rather aptly, finished 13th in Liga as well, losing 17 of their 38 games and only 3 points higher than 16th place other option Montpellier. Obviously a long way off those top spots. So work to be done. Nantes have managed to avoid relegation in Liga narrowly in the past couple of years by managing to win the relegation playoff in France. They finished 9th actually last season IRL, but 18th the year before, and then bottom half, top half, bottom half were in the league below over recent spells. So they're not a massive club by any stretch, Nantes, and their starting lineup looks as follows. They play a 5-back. And as you can see there, they do have a decent goalkeeper at 80 rated, but nobody is higher rated than 82 rated Melamed. But they do have a number of 80 rated players. Chukwemeka, Bellegarde, Van de Ven, Dimitrovic, Perrault is also here as well, aging but still here. Alex Tellez is here as well, aging at 34 but still here. And the 5-back formation, I would initially start with the formation that the club has by default, as we have done at every club we've managed so far. A sizable-ish squad here at Nantes as well, as big as could be expected, and as big as Montpellier's, but rather evidently no quality in there. They do have another 80-rated goalkeeper, however. Financially, at Nantes, there is about the same amount of money available as would be at Montpellier. 25 million here compared to the 27 million at Montpellier. Objectively, I'm not sure what would have been expected of a Nantes manager this season. Presumably, yeah, just finish mid-table was all that was expected, and obviously they have achieved that. Not sure about Montpellier's, I didn't check, but Montpellier you would expect to have finished mid to top half of the table. So Nantes are your second option in France. Slightly different formation with 5 at the back, but work to be done with that squad too, absolutely. Next up would be something that is more of a challenge. A bigger club, you would argue, in Bordeaux. They last won Liga in 2008 and 2009, the 08-09 season, under Laurent Blanc actually as manager. This season in real life, they are in the second tier. They got relegated last season by finishing bottom of the league, and 3 previous seasons to that, they were bottom half. However, basically the decade prior to that and since that last league win, they have been 5th, 6th and 7th, basically. And actually, the couple of seasons prior to that league win, in 2 of those recent 3 seasons, they actually finished second in the league. So they were, for 3 of 4 seasons, arguably 4 seasons in a row in the late noughties, a championship challenging side. However, in real life, they're in Ligue 2, and in this save, they are also in Ligue 2. They finished a lowly 8th in the second division in France, so this would be even more of a Road to Glory style project, having to take them from the second tier up to the league above. But as we mentioned, they are a big club. A 4-3-3 is their current formation, and it's not an amazing team, to be honest. There is a tiny squad here. They have a starting 11 and a bench, and then just 2 spare goalkeepers, and that is it. And the quality on that bench ain't great either. Highest rated player, or highest rated players, are Sissoko at CDM and Tom Lecou at centre mid. But you can see the 4-3-3 they play. Vetro up top is their best striker at 72. They have only 1 left back, fact, they have 2 left backs, but no right backs. Ikomi's having to play at right back as just a fullback covering on that far side. They don't have much strength at centre back. They don't have much strength in midfield. They don't have much strength anywhere, as you can tell. They are Ligue 2 and would be, as we say, a much longer term project. Maybe not much longer term project, but certainly there would need to be a promotion in there, as well as doing well in the league above. Financially, only a £10 million budget at Bordeaux. Only 10 million, more than half, or less than half, of the 2 clubs we've seen so far in Montpellier and Nantes. Bordeaux is so far the biggest challenge on the list. Your 4th and final French option is also a side in Ligue 2. However, they have been promoted from this division and will be Ligue 1 next year. It is 4th placed en avant Guingamp. Guingamp finished 4th, just 8 points off top, and were promoted via the promotion playoffs, I believe. I will just double, triple check that they did indeed go up. Well, it looks like there is no relegation playoff, it's showing in France here. So yes, they have indeed gone up to Ligue 1. In recent years, they have been top half in Ligue 2. They currently sit 13th so far this season in real life. Prior to that, they spent 6 years in Ligue 1 in the top flight, but were relegated after finishing bottom with just 27 points 4 years ago. And prior to their Ligue 1 spell, they have been a Ligue 2 and even the Championnat National, which is actually the 3rd tier in France in just the 10-11 season. So within the last decade, they have spanned all 3 of France's top divisions. Their squad is not that England squad. Their squad is, as you see it there. There really is a lack of significant quality in this team. A slightly bigger squad than those that we've seen at Bordeaux, but still the quality just isn't there, as you would expect at this level. So highest rated players are Niakate at 77 and Chibitso at 76. The rest is, I mean, Gomis, they have 3 centre-backs and they play a 3-back and he's 64 rated. So they're not great. They have no left-backs. Actually, no, they do have a left-back, Kemper, but he's not good enough. In midfield, I mean, there's just nothing other than what's in there. Maybe Parmac, you'd say, is actually arguably better than Krieger, but Krieger with the higher overall rating because of the better defensive stats, but actually all round, I reckon Parmac's probably better, isn't he? Up top, not much anywhere really for Guingamp, and I imagine, I haven't checked, but I imagine financially here it's going to be even more difficult. It is £8 million in the budget at Guingamp, promoted to Liga, so a newly promoted side with £8 million budget, or a still in Ligue 2 side with a £10 million budget, or 2 current Liga sides with £25 and £27 million in their budget. Your French options will be Montpellier, Nantes, Bordeaux, or Guingamp. Of course, vote for as many of these teams as you like. Tick as many as you like before you hit vote. Now then, let's offer you 4 teams from Spain, shall we, as well, for this RTG project midway through this GloryHunter save. Option 1 from Spain is Almeria. In real life, they are a newly promoted side, and back in La Liga for the first time, they sit 14th, having challenged for promotion the last 3 years in the league below, in the Segunda Liga, and won the title last year. They have yo-yoed over the past 15 years or so. 4 years in La Liga, then 2 years in the league below, then 2 years in La Liga, then 6 years in the league below, and now back in La Liga. And in this save, they are also La Liga, however, only bloody just. They finished 16th this season, just 6 points above the relegation zone in La Liga, and lost 22 of their 38 games. They got just 30 points and are a massive 62 points of Real Madrid, who are at the top of the table. So this is a very long-term option here at Almeria. The squad is a 5-back, but there is some quality in here. Rajkovic in goal is a decent goalkeeper at 81, certainly. And then Chumi and Babic and Christensen are decent quality level defenders. Ryan Yates, of course, of Nottingham Forest in real life. Bardera, Guedes there. There is also an 78 rated Arnau, an 80 rated Ramazani, who I think is the highest rated outfield player at the club. A little bit of depth and some quality in that depth as well, with a couple of 70, mid to late 70 players, albeit one of them is a goalkeeper, the other one a left back. They play a 5-back with 3 in midfield. Now the budget at Almeria would be a whopping £48 million. That's a big budget. That's a big budget. The biggest we've seen so far, certainly. And whilst actually not being the strongest squad we've seen so far, it is definitely the strongest financially we've seen a team to this point. So your first option in Spain is Almeria. Option 2 in Espanol is Tenerife, or Tenerife. They are a second division team in real life, currently sitting 16th actually in the Segunda Liga, have within the last 10 years been lower than the Segunda Liga, and 3 years prior to their spell in the third division in Spain, they were briefly for 1 year in La Liga, but that was only for a season, and they finished 19th with 36 points and were relegated. So Tenerife, if I show you the standings, managed to get themselves promoted this year from the Segunda Liga. From La Liga Smartbank, they finished second in the league and have been promoted automatically back to La Liga for next season. So they will be a first tier team. They play a 4-4-2 with Soriano in goal, who's decent and only 29 at 79 rated. Then not much depth at fullback. There is 271 rated right backs and a 66 rated left back. Not great. At centre back, no depth there either. In the wide positions, depth with 4 options but no quality. And then in central midfield, they have a number of players, but again, not a massive amount of quality. And up top, not many options and only really the 2 players that are worth any real note. The squad is again small, although at least this time, unlike Bordeaux, the 2 players on the reserves are outfield players and not just 2 spare goalkeepers. In fact, there is only 1 goalkeeper at the club in Soriano. Their financial situation would give you £10 million to spend, or give us £10 million to spend, should you decide to send me out to Tenerife for an island holiday. Your second option, Tenerife after Almeria. Your third option, upcoming. Your third option in Spain and 7th option overall is Levante, the second side in the city of Valencia, of course, with a similar style badge with the bat wings, etc. Levante are a side that got relegated in real life last year, sit 3rd in the Segunda Liga so far this year, and have yo-yoed over the past decade or so. A 5-year spell and then relegated, and previous to that, a 6-year spell and then relegated. But each time they've got relegated, they have challenged for promotion, if not won the league, and bounced back. On this case, you may well have seen, if you recall back from having a look at Tenerife, Levante did win the league again. So Levante will be in the league above, in the top flight in La Liga for next season. They too play a 4-4-2 with a 79 rated goalkeeper, but there are some higher quality players in here, you will notice, including an 81 rated actually regen Perez at centre back, Pubel at right back at 78, Reinders at 79 in the midfield, and then Nian up top and Cantero at 78 and 77 respectively. There is still some weak spots like left back, just 2 71 rated left backs. El Yunusi is now 32 and aging on the left. Charlie Musonda is now 30 and definitely not as quick as he used to be out on the right-hand side. But there is some quality in this Levante team and some depth. Although, again, 2 of the players in the reserves are goalkeepers. And there is 3 spare strikers at the club and not much depth in other positions as well, which is a bit strange, but it is what it is. So that's Levante. They have a financial clout of £28 million as a budget going into the league above. So the second largest budget we've seen so far behind Almeria. That's 3 Spanish options and 7 overall. The final option is upcoming. Your final option from the south of Spain is Malaga, a side that a few years ago, about a decade ago, had an influx of cash and challenged for Champions League qualification on a few occasions. In fact, finishing 4th in 11-12 and getting Champions League football over a spell of 10 years in La Liga. Prior to that, they were in the league below, but then only for a couple of years and had been La Liga prior to that. In real life, they currently sit 20th in the 2nd division in Spain after finishing 18th last year. Mid-table and mid-table 2 previous years from that, prior to a 3rd place finish in the Segunda Liga the year after they'd been relegated in 17-18. So they are, well, on the downward trend, you would say. 8th, 11th, 20th in the top flight, and then 3rd, 14th, 12th, 18th, 20th in the Segunda Division. They need rescuing, IRL. Perhaps we rescue them in this save. The starting lineup is okay-ish. A 4-1-3-2 here at Malaga. The only goalkeeper at the club, however, is a 69 rated Yanez. Malaga won the promotion playoff in the Segunda Liga this season in the save. They have no right backs and 2 left backs. At centre back, just 2 centre backs, that's it. In midfield, a number of options. They have quite a bit of quality in central midfield as it happens, with Enriquez there at 76. They've Roberto up top at 78, alongside Corredor. Kevin out wide on the left, who's got a bit of pace. Fomba on the right, who's got a bit of pace. And squad depth is practically non-existent, with this being the smallest squad of any club that we've looked at. And the smallest squad of any, really. A bench and 1 other player who is a 60 rated non-starter. So, arguably the weakest side on the list, Malaga. Financially, a budget of £14 million at present. 14 million. They have picked up some prize money since advancing, and there may well be a bigger budget next year, but that's not necessarily guaranteed. Malaga are your final option. So, to recap for you. 4 French options: Montpellier, Nantes, Bordeaux and Guingamp. All sides on the list are in the top flight of their given nation, other than Bordeaux, who are 2nd tier. And then in Spain, Almeria, Tenerife, Levante and Malaga. Again, tick as many as you like before hitting vote. I'm just going to go here and vote for all of them. Vote for as many as you like, and you'll be able to be fully involved in everything that goes forward from here. Thank you very much for watching. Please do show this next GloryHunter project your big support. I'd appreciate it very much indeed. I'm actually looking forward to something a little bit more left field, so we'll see how things go. But that is the scenario for this vote. So there's a link in the description down below. Goes without saying, there might be a day or 2 without a GloryHunter episode whilst we allow the vote the time to have enough people see it and vote on it. And then GloryHunter will return. In the meantime, there's my player content over on the 2nd channel. We've just moved clubs in that save as well to Manchester United. And, of course, Football Manager content on the 2nd channel too. And everything that happens on both channels is streamed over on Twitch. There's a link in the description down below to that if you'd like to come across and join me there as well. I'd love to have you. Right. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your future support. And hopefully I'll see you soon at a new club. Ta-da.